just introduced articles of impeachment on President Joe Biden. Joe Biden is selling our strategic petroleum reserves. This should never happen. He is draining our reserves and selling our oil, Americans' oil, to foreign countries, and China is a top buyer. China is our enemy. They are not our friend. They're buying Americans' oil.
But are they? Are they? Now that's Marjorie Taylor Greene announcing her intentions to impeach Joe Biden. Good luck with that. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Now, we should investigate whether her claims about Biden selling our precious oil to China, our precious petroleum reserves to China, if that's accurate. Is that accurate? And does she know that the United States is the top exporter of fossil fuels in the world? We're the top producer, top exporter. And it's not the president of the United States who's making that decision. It's private fossil fuel companies, because we don't have nationalized oil here. We haven't nationalized our natural resources. And so how does this really play out? I'll tell you. So in late March of this year, Biden agreed to release 1 million barrels of crude oil from our strategic petroleum reserves every day for 6 months, okay? And the whole point of that is to increase the supply in order to bring prices at the gas pump down. And prices have gone down. I'd like to see them come down a lot more, but they've come down a little bit, right? Now the oil is sold. Okay, that oil that we take out from our strategic petroleum reserve, that gets sold, not directly to China or any other country. It gets sold to eligible companies, private companies, follow along with me, Marjorie, follow along, that make their highest offers. Some of the companies are US subsidiaries of foreign companies, and some that purchased oil have then exported a portion to buyers overseas. Now, some of those companies decided, yeah, I'm gonna I'll sell to China, because of course they'll sell it at a premium. They buy it from the federal government, and then they get to sell it to the highest bidder. Why not? And that's exactly what they're doing here. Now, there's also a role that Congress played. And if Marjorie Taylor Greene had two brain cells to rub together, she would A, know this, B, maybe do something about it. Because Congress made it possible for these private companies to export these resources. Okay, so since Congress lifted a nearly 40-year ban on most US crude oil exports in 2015, the Department of Energy, which maintains the stockpile, cannot dictate whether companies can export oil purchased from the petroleum reserve. I mean, look, we could nationalize oil. You know, the American people could actually profit from the natural resources that private companies have hoarded for themselves and then export to the highest bidder globally. But I'm pretty sure she wouldn't want that. It's amazing, like she never really thinks any of this through. But let me continue. Greene had a little bit more to share about her rant.
The Strategic Petroleum Reserve is our emergency supply for if something goes wrong in this country. It's now down to 434 million barrels of oil. That is nearly half of what it was when President Trump left office.
Yeah, that's also not true. I actually thought maybe it was true. I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt, but that would have been a terrible, terrible mistake. I looked into that as well. There was actually a net decline in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve when President Trump was in office. When he took office in January of 2017, the reserves contained 695 million barrels. When he left office 4 years later, it contained 638 million barrels, so it went down. So not only is the claim of filling it untrue, but the level of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve actually declined while President Trump was in office. In fact, if you look at the numbers, the reserves actually increased significantly under Obama. But look, to be honest with you, sure, we can have a debate about what we're doing with oil and fossil fuels. But wouldn't it be better if we were having a conversation about being reliant on other forms of energy? You know, things like renewable energy, things that don't destroy our climate, things that actually help to respond to the climate emergency accurately, while also dissuading us from engaging in global conflicts just so we can control natural resources like oil in other countries. Wouldn't that be nice? I think that's where the conversation should be. But anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm really looking forward to those impeachment proceedings. I'm sure it's gonna be very entertaining. It's gonna be great, really gonna be great. Looking forward to that. In the meantime, she should probably, I don't know, read something.